I'd totally be okay if there's an ongoing gag of Nagi kicking these fools' asses, because, I mean, what started off a bit weird ended a full-on stalker territory in this episode, and I'm glad that Nagi continues to just wipe the floor with these fools, and you can tell they're the type of scumbags who complain online about how women don't get them when, in fact, it's just women understand that they're pieces of shit. But this episode, once again, another good episode. 6 episodes in, and the show continues to just outmaneuver the cliches and the predictability, and in favor, it's just writing really interesting character relationships. And the whole idea of what could have been some pretty interesting drama stuff that I was actually excited for, but the fact that they navigated around Erika being upset that Nagi actually liked Hiro, because if you remember a couple episodes back, you know, his excuse for studying so hard was simply for his family, so there could have been some drama and some interesting turn of events there. But instead, they actually went a more interesting direction by making her almost like the unofficial wingman, and even though she quickly abandons that because she just thinks they're not compatible after seeing how much Hiro pushes back against Nagi, I like the fact that they're making these three generally good friends, so that instead of just having it be, oh, jealousy just right from the get-go or forced conflict, instead, it's this very interesting trio who generally feel like they get along, but of course that drama, that love triangle, is definitely brewing in the process. Erika definitely has showcased some interesting feelings towards Nagi. Hiro herself is very much observing and cluing into the fact that they're already pretty close, and just the general fact of just like where Nagi's heart's truly gonna lie by the time you reach the finish line. I mean, it's one of those things that definitely gets your mind racing in pretty positive ways if you ask me. But there was some funny content in this episode. I mean, Nagi's birthday suit extravaganza, the adventure. I mean, on one hand, I get it, man, because the idea of clothes and having to wear them, they do get in the way. Listen, I mean, I only wear shirts for videos and going out places. I don't even wear a shirt 99.9% of the day, right? Just the idea of just wanting to embrace your house in your birthday suit, you know, as extreme as they directed it. The man has been stuck living with his family. He never got to experience the wonders of the airflow. But the idea of choosing to do it that day is the issue, because this man, even though he thought they were going over to her dad's home, you can't believe that you're guaranteed to be alone. What if the dad comes by to check in? What if your parents come by to check in? What if they come by because something happened? And the fact that he's butt-ass naked and has to navigate around Metal Gear Solid style. And I love the fact that Erika clues into it, being like, why in the actual hell are you naked to begin with? They didn't abuse the joke, but it was there long enough to be very memorable. And the way they censored his dong with an almost like hot dog-like figure, and then as he's walking, it squishes like a dog's chew toy. That shit writes itself, and I was not expecting that in the slightest. That's the type of joke that I thought would have got spoiled for me watching this show earlier into the episodes, but I'm so thankful I got to experience the glory of that joke without any prior knowledge. But it was interesting, right? Because in the process of them becoming more close and becoming better friends, even though he's navigating around the house, he's throwing goons off their front lawn, I love the fact that they generally feel like they're connecting in pretty good ways. And the idea of like further establishing what Hiro's engagement actually entails, and that is the inheritance of this shrine, I thought was an interesting turn of events, something I wasn't expecting. I thought they were going to go a little more goofy with that and just, you know, everyone's going to end up engaged. But I like the fact that despite it having ridiculous ideas for so many different elements of its premise, the show stands on its own two legs of being something that feels genuine, all things considered. It started off with one of the most outlandish first episodes that was somehow enjoyable to watch through and through, but over the course of now 6 episodes, I've really come to appreciate how it feels serious where it counts and goofy in the right moments. It's not constantly silly faces or, you know, butt-ass naked moments, but when they're there, they just kind of feel like they make sense for the context, and the heart of this anime is the general friendships and the will they, won't they, who's going to end up together and things like that. And something that I honestly don't think gets praised quite enough has to be Nagi's voice actor. Now, in general, the anime voice actors, whether it's Hiro and her kind of like more cool demeanor, but then kind of psychotic attitude, Erika and her kind of soft-spoken, kind-hearted, but can be a little vicious as well attitude. But Nagi's the kind of guy who just, he feels normal most of the time he's talking, but when he goes outlandish with those anime faces or the audible gas, he's not overboard. It feels completely genuine, and rather than just having something feel super ridiculously goofy alongside the what the hell am I looking at images, it just feels natural, and I think it elevates it to be funnier than if an actor in a booth was trying to make it as outlandish as maybe what the anime director was going for. And I just really like that stuff, because this show, I think, across the board is a very great show. That's kind of how I feel. It's a consistently great show. Could it become amazing down the line for me? Sure. Could it become good for me down the line? Sure. But as it stands, I mean, I'm just continuing to appreciate all the characters. Hiro, like I've mentioned a couple of times, didn't like her at the start, and I genuinely enjoy what she's offering to the table. I like the conflict, I like the little bits of drama, and I like the fact that she generally does seem to have interests in Nagi, but is unable to maybe fully commit to them for a couple of different reasons. And the fact that, you know, Erika and Nagi, I mean, I absolutely love those two, and who I'm typically rooting for right now. But I love the fact that no matter where they end up, friends or dating, right now I'm fine with any direction. And that's something a lot of these stories get wrong. They make you immediately pick your quote-unquote best girl or your favorite character. But for me, I think this show's done an amazing job at making me like everything about it and wanting to see a little bit of everything, and whatever happens is gonna happen. And like I mentioned in last week's video, I really am excited for the second half of this season, because even though I'm loving the first 6 episodes, and I think it's been a pretty consistent show so far, I think the idea of getting into the episodes 12 through 24, like that's where things are really gonna probably get rocky, because at this point you can already see chemistry between all three, whether friendships or romance. And the fact of the matter is, once you get into those later episodes, they'll be better friends, there'll be stronger feelings, and that's when I think, given how they've written drama up until this point, I'm very convinced that they could write a love triangle, potentially even more than a love triangle, and do it in such a way that makes other harem-like shows feel so small in comparison. Because really, you know, an author's lucky to write 1 or 2 memorable personalities, and the idea of someone competing and all that type of stuff. Here, it feels like genuine why they're coming into contact. I think the interesting kind of relationships and dramas that's going to brew from that is going to be really interesting to follow. But yeah, I'll leave another episode really interested. I'm hoping to see a bit more of the families, because I do like what they've had to offer up until this point. I did like seeing Hiro's mother and the death glares she gave to Nagi. The boy got like a hard candy, as Erika got like this amazing roll, this pastry with just so many sweets on it. That was a pretty funny joke if you ask me. I was totally expecting like a father or a grandfather or a big brother to also pop up there with a shotgun or something. Like, damn, the mother was giving that type of looks. You never know what else could actually pop up. I thought I was gonna see him like eat the hard candy like in like a disgruntled way, but the boy probably had the right idea to just kind of like sit there, pretend like nothing happened, and like you're not actually getting death glares when really you are. But thoughts if you have any, whether you're a fan of that manga or if you're an anime original like myself, what do you think? What do you hope to see maybe in future episodes? Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.